In this video essay, I will discuss how two completely different genres successfully combine to create a hybrid genre. The genres I have chosen are horror and romantic comedy, and the film that I have chosen that successfully demonstrates this is Shaun of the Dead, written by Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright. The genres of horror and romantic comedy are both relevant in this film, with it often being labelled the first rom-com, zombie romantic comedy. The idea for this combination came from both Wright and Pegg's love for George Romero's Of the Dead trilogy, with Wright saying Simon Pegg was the first person I'd ever met who was as obsessed with George Romero's Dawn of the Dead as I was. In Miller Riper 2016, the writer talks about the impact Romero had on horror films, calling it Romero-esque, explaining the style Romero crafted for the genre is what created the popularity for the modern zombie genre and the cliches that come with it, like gore, slow-moving zombies holding up in one location, and the use of zombies being a bigger metaphor for society. So it's obvious Shaun of the Dead took heavy inspiration from Romero's films, paying homage with the classic slow-moving cannibalistic zombies instead of using fast-paced zombies like 28 Days Later. The use of practical effects for the gore, Dawn holds up in the mall while Shaun holds up in the pub. Both use metaphors. Dawn of the Dead is a metaphor for consumerism and materialism, while Shaun is a metaphor for people's daily routines in working class Britain, suggesting that people were already zombified before the outbreak began. And of course the title Shaun of the Dead literally being a parody of the Dawn of the Dead title. The zombie genre is known best for being an American genre trope and wasn't relevant in Britain compared to our transatlantic cousins, but Shaun's writers had their own twist on things, incorporating British humour, taking inspiration from British TV shows such as Fawlty Towers and Blackadder. In the film we see a stacked cast of British comedians such as Matt Lucas, Martin Freeman, Lucy Davis and more. The use of these actors is what helps to keep the film close to its British roots by reframing an American genre but doing it using distinctive British humour. In result we get genre hybridity. At first glance it may seem the main premises of Shaun of the Dead is about a zombie apocalypse, but what really lies at the heart here is Shaun trying to win Liz back. Shaun of the Dead for its narrative structure plays out like a romantic comedy formula, using the apocalypse as a catalyst for the protagonist to prove himself to his partner. We see from the start of the movie the use of cliché rom-com tropes. The film is structured with boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy needs to win girl back. This is relevant as the movie starts with Liz breaking up with Shaun because of his slackerish ways. Usually we see the slackers try to win their love back with a grand gesture to prove themselves. Shaun's grand gesture is unique because he is quite literally trying to rescue Liz from the zombie apocalypse by making a plan with the core of it to take her to a safe place. As we see Shaun take on the zombies, we also see him step up and mature for the ones he loves for the first time in the movie. Other rom-com tropes we see are the use of the best friend who is there for comedic relief and a sidekick to the protagonist. In Shaun, the untrained friend is Ed, who he shares a bromance with. You could also say the happy ending with the two love interests surviving the apocalypse is a nod to rom-com, as horrors rarely end like this. Working title also helped fund this film, which is interesting as this production company is well known for making successful rom-com films such as 4 Weddings and a Funeral and Love Actually, and known for keeping British culture at the heart of their stories. So with them supporting the movie, it's obvious that it helped towards the success of combining the genres. Examples where we see the two genres at play are when Shaun and Ed confront a zombie in the garden and the battle in the pub against the zombies. Here in the garden scene we see Shaun and Ed both use innocuous items to fight against the zombies, such as toasters, tennis balls, kitchen essentials, cricket bat, darts and vinyls, in which we see them argue what albums to save and what ones to throw as they are being attacked. These objects are humorous as it's not the action-packed weapons you would normally associate with zombie films and shows how unprepared they are for the apocalypse. We also see Ed take a picture as Shaun is struggling against the zombies, highlighting a comedic tone. This scene in the pub is iconic because as the zombies attack we see the desperation and fear the characters are facing, and as an audience are anxious for them. But the use of Queen's Don't Stop Me Now playing over the scene can't help you not laugh, as he brilliantly used slapstick comedy with the fight scene being choreographed like a musical. We see the protagonist hit the zombies with pool cues to the beat of the song. At the same time, David is trying to turn off the fuse, but in the process is creating a disco, as the lights are also in time with the song, attracting the zombies to the whereabouts. All round, Shaun of the Dead ultimately helped redefine the hybrid genre of horror and romantic comedy by creating a film that paid tribute to horror while simultaneously subverting it with their blend of wit and comedy, and inspired rom-coms that came after, such as Zombieland and iZombie.